So the iPhone 18 rumors have started leaking, and usually this is the part where we talk about specs, we talk about speeds, we talk about feeds, and we get excited about a phone that won't exist for another 7 months. But if you actually read between the lines of what's coming out of Bloomberg and the supply chain right now, there is a weird tension happening. It looks like Apple is preparing to redesign the dynamic island. They're testing a new red color, and apparently they've already started production testing. That sounds like a roadmap, but to me it feels like a distraction. Let's break this down. The headline is simple. The dynamic island on the iPhone 18 Pro is getting smaller. Mark Gurman at Bloomberg dropped this almost casually, mentioning a redesign for the Pro models. And the internet, as expected, immediately lit up with all-screen iPhone predictions. On the surface, this sounds like progress. We've been staring at some variation of a cutout since 2017. First the notch, then the island. The endgame has always been under-display Face ID. Here's the psychological issue. Apple knows that the dynamic island is currently the only visual differentiator between an iPhone 14 Pro, a 15 Pro, and a 16 Pro. If you take the island away completely or shrink it to a tiny pinhole, you lose the silhouette. If you shrink it now, you aren't solving a problem for the user. The current island is already functional, it's already useful. Most users have stopped noticing it, so why shrink it? Because if the iPhone 18 Pro looks identical to the iPhone 17 Pro, which, spoiler, will likely look identical to the iPhone 16 Pro, there is no new phone energy when a customer walks into a store. This isn't an innovation play, this is an aesthetic necessity. It is much easier to market, look, it's smaller than it is to market, look, the transistor density is higher. The hidden motive here isn't we finally perfected under-display tech. The motive is we need a visual hook to justify the upgrade price. And the timing is suspicious. We are hearing about micro-transparent glass panels and punch holes. That sounds complex. If the tech was truly ready for a seamless display, they wouldn't be shrinking the island, they'd be deleting it. This tells me they are stuck in a transitional limbo. They can't go fully under screen yet, but they have to change something. So they're giving us a shrinkage. It's the Notch 2.0 pattern. Reduce the obstruction slightly, call it a redesign, and buy themselves another 2 years of the same chassis design. Then we have the color rumors. Gurman says the iPhone 18 Pro is getting a deep red finish, and the iPhone Fold, yes, the Fold is apparently real and coming alongside the 18 Pro, will launch in dark gray/black and white/silver. This is fascinating branding psychology. Red for Apple is usually the product red charity line, but making deep red the flagship color for a Pro model, that's aggressive. Red is a high arousal color. It signals dominance, urgency, and attention. Brands usually pivot to aggressive color palettes when they feel the market is becoming numb. We saw this with the Alpine Green. We saw it with Desert Titanium. The silent majority of users, people who don't watch tech reviews, buy phones based on two things. Is it new and does it look new? A new red iPhone forces a double take in a coffee shop. It creates social signaling. Oh, they have the new one. But look at the contrast with the iPhone Fold. The Fold gets no fun colors, just monochrome seriousness. Why? Because the Fold is rumored to cost $2,000 to $2,500. At that price point, you don't want fun, you want luxury, you want investment. Apple is strategically separating the two products. The iPhone 18 Pro is the fashion accessory, trying to juice sales with dopamine colors. The iPhone Fold is the status symbol, stripped of color to appeal to the pro mindset of, I spent this much money, so it should look like a serious tool. It's a classic strategy. Use color to segment the emotion. Finally, we have the manufacturing news. Production testing for the iPhone 18 Pro has reportedly kicked off early. We're talking about the A20 Pro chip on a 2-nanometer process, and this is the spec head detail, a mechanical variable aperture camera. Now, variable aperture is something Android phones did years ago. Samsung did it Huawei did it. Apple famously ignored it, preferring computational photography to fake the depth of field. If Apple is now moving to a mechanical aperture, physical blades opening and closing inside the lens, it is an admission of a ceiling. Computational photography has hit a wall. You can only fake bokeh so much before it looks artificial. Apple is admitting we need physics again. But mechanical parts inside a phone are terrifying for reliability. Dust drops, wear and tear, moving parts break. Why take the risk? So you have a phone that is changing the shape of its cutout to look new, adding aggressive colors to feel new, and adopting riskier hardware to perform new. That isn't the behavior of a company that is coasting. That is the behavior of a company that knows the supercycle is over. They are fighting for every inch of attention. They are shrinking the island because the screen is the only battleground left. They are painting it red because they need you to look. And they are jamming mechanical cameras in because software alone isn't enough to win the spec war anymore. The iPhone 18 Pro isn't just another phone. It's a stress test for how many times Apple can sell you the same rectangle with slightly different edges before you stop caring. And based on these rumors, they're worried you might already be there. See you next one. Peace out.